Testing, testing. guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good morning. Welcome to the Maryland Public Service Commission's administrative meeting for February 21st, 2024. Our first item is to approve the minutes from our meeting of February 14th, 2024. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barbe.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Morning, Mr. Chair. There are 5 items on today's consent agenda. They all concern updated standard offer service rates from Potomac Edison Company for items 1 and 2, and then Delmarva Power for 3, Potomac Electric Power Company for 4, and Baltimore Gas and Electric Company for 5. There is, however, an adjustment to item 1.
Good morning, Chair Hoover, Commissioners. Jeffrey Trout, Counsel to Potomac Edison. It's not an adjustment, it's a clarification. We filed the residential standard offer service rate change with a rate effective date of June 1, and the type 2 with a rate effective date of March 1. That's because at the type 2 rates change every 3 months, but the residential rates change less frequently. Just in case there was any confusion or ambiguity as a result of the wording in staff's bug sheet, I just wanted to clarify, those are the effective dates of the rate changes, June 1 for item 1 and March 1 for item 2.
Okay, fair enough. So with that, I move regarding item 1 that we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of June 1, 2024. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barbe.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. And then regarding items number 2, 3, 4, and 5, I move that we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of March 1, 2024. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barbe.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Mr. Chair, item number 6 is a joint request from Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, Delmarva Power, Potomac Electric Power Company, Potomac Edison Company, Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative, and Washington Gas for clarification of order number 90957 in the Empower docket.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Dan Hurley on behalf of the Commission staff. So item 6 is the staff report in response to the Commission letter order directing staff to do a study analysis and file a recommendation on the Joint Utilities request for clarification on whether the 2024 and 2025 program year unamortized balances should be amortized for 5 or 7 years. After conducting our research, we did come to a recommendation that the 24 and 2025 Empower program year unamortized balances should be amortized over 5 years and not 7. With that, I'm available for any questions.
So, any questions for staff?
The percentages were higher in the WGL region, were they not?
Yes, they were.
What would account for that?
I think that accounts for that WGL has a not as established program. Their program costs comparative to future program cycles are higher in this program cycle to meet their goals. So I'll probably account for that issue.
Okay, so, well, mathematically, I'm having difficulty understanding why there would be such a disparity. You're saying that they don't have a properly established program?
No, it's a younger program. So the electric utility's been running a power program since 2009. Washington Gas has been running a program since 2015. And again, it has to do with their first couple of program cycles. They didn't have as expensive as a program as they do now.
So because of that, they've made a bigger chunk of investment more recently? Is that what you're saying?
Looking forward in the 24 to 26 program cycle, the projected spending for WGL is much higher than it was in the past.
Okay, thank you.
So, any other party want to be heard on this? Okay. Any other questions for? So.
Just one, just so I understand, these have all been updated for the current rates of return for the utilities?
That's correct.
It has, okay. And just remind me, are we looking, they're about what, 7.5 to 8% when you actually compute the rates of return?
I think it's under 8% for most now, but we were looking like maybe 6.5 up to 7.5. It's about-
Okay, so that's the rate that we're
That's the weighted average
recurring-
cost of
we're
capital.
paying the utilities. Okay. All right, thank you. No other questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so with that, I make a motion that we direct the Empower Utilities to use a 5-year amortization period to recover the unamortized costs for the 2024 and 2025 Empower program years. Commissioner Sushman,
Aye.
Commissioner Barbe,
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Mr. Chair, items number 7 through 13 consist of revised and power charge filings from Potomac Electric Power Company, Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative, Inc., Delmarva Power and Light Company, Washington Gas Light Company, for 11 and 12 Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, and for item 13, Potomac Edison Company.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Paige Shaw on behalf of staff. Items 7 through 13 represent filings from the Potomac Electric Power Company, Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative, Delmarva Power and Light Company, Washington Gas Light Company, Baltimore Gas and Electric, and Potomac Edison Company's proposed updates to their Empower Maryland surcharges for 2024. Staff notes on February 14th, 2024, DPL submitted an errata to its filing to correct a typographical error which caused the rates shown on the tariff attachment 2 and the company's cover letter to not match the rates calculated in DPL's work papers. This error does not affect the calculation of the surcharges or staff's recommendation. Staff has reviewed the filings and notes that the proposed costs in 2024 are very similar to the costs proposed in the company's 2024 to 2026 Empower Maryland program filings. As noted in our written comments, staff recommends the Commission accept for filing the proposed surcharges with an effective date stated in the company's tariffs. Additionally, the Office of People's Counsel filed comments on February 20th, 2023, requesting that the Commission order PE to model the approach used by the other Maryland utilities, specifically WGL, the full annual year approach, and PEPCO and DPL's the monthly month after approach. And with that, staff is available for any questions. Thank you.
So, any questions for staff?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Nicole Zeichner on behalf of the Maryland Office of People's Counsel. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, OPC has raised twice in the past our concern with Potomac Edison's methodology for calculating the unamortized balance. And Potomac Edison's monthly year-after approach has led to millions of dollars of increased costs for its ratepayers. We raised this issue originally in perhaps it was November or December of 2022, and then again in December of 2023. We do not currently have an objection to the implementation of the utilities filed Empower tariffs as proposed. However, we would like to see the issue of Potomac Edison's amortization method addressed for the 2025 program year. We did in fact reach out to Potomac Edison on February 2nd, and we did ask Potomac Edison to model both the Washington Gas scenario and the Delmarva and PEPCO scenarios, because we know that both would cause decreased cost to Potomac Edison's ratepayers. Potomac Edison did not perform the modeling. The Office of People's Counsel did perform extensive modeling, but in order to make an appropriate decision, we would like to see this modeling by Potomac Edison as well. And the reason that we're not making this recommendation for the 2024 program year is because, as of course you know, the tariffs have already been delayed due to implementation of the new 2024 to 2026 plan, and we would like additional time to evaluate the options with Potomac Edison's methodology. So we would respectfully request that the Commission order Potomac Edison to model both Washington Gas's approach to amortization and Delmarva and PEPCO's approach, so that the parties can have the opportunity to consider changes to the 2025 program year. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
So, any questions for, sure.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks for bringing this to our attention again. And in fact, I think it was December 21st, it's December 21st, 2022 that you brought this to our attention. do you recall? I did actually go and pull up the minutes from that meeting, and it appears that we just went ahead and adopted the motion that was as stated, which was a pretty clean, and it doesn't appear that we took any of the recommendations of OPC at that time. I think one was to request a rulemaking. The other is that we actually adjust the amortization methodology, and I think you specifically cited Delmarva. Do you recall, did we take any action other than that? Was there anything, and I've tried to pull up the YouTube when I was having some technical problem, but I'm just trying to go back and understand, did we do anything at OPC's request at that in 2022?
So, Commissioner Richard, what was done at that time? So, Potomac Edison presented some figures that concerned the commission regarding the ratepayer impact of
And
making.
I remember the concerns were
Yeah.
raised, yeah.
And the commission, I did go back and review the video. It was available at the time I tried to review it, and the commission approved the rates or the tariffs as proposed. However, everyone agreed that additional study or additional investigation was needed, and that was actually included in former Chairman Stanik's motion. So nothing was ordered, but everyone did express concern and agree that additional investigation would be needed.
Okay, and then did OPC have an opportunity to engage with staff and with Potomac Edison at the time to try to get further information? Because I am concerned and disturbed that you haven't received the information you requested at your last, as you requested. So I'm just curious, did anything come out of that?
Yes, so we did propound discovery on the Empower Utilities. We do have a consultant working on this issue, and he did model what we believe to be the ratepayer impact. And we, as OPC, were tentatively comfortable with that, so we continued to make this proposal. We did not reach out to staff, but we did have exchange discovery with the utilities, including Potomac Edison, and then we did make that request on February 2nd. And it was a request that they voluntarily provide the information. And I did state in my request that we were going to be requesting this at the administrative meeting, but it would be helpful for all parties to go into this meeting with more information. So that's where we are at this point, and we felt that we just would like to see additional evaluation by Potomac Edison as well before we recommend that the commission make changes right now.
Okay. So today, you're suggesting we just move forward with the rates requested, but you do raise the question whether these rates are just and reasonable. Obviously, any delay in trying to address this issue just continues a potentially unjust and unreasonable rate. So, is there anything we need to do other than just order PE to provide this data, or is there anything we can do, since again this was raised last year, and it's an issue that we're now talking about, possibly tens of millions of dollars. Is that sufficient, or is there anything else we might want to consider doing again to quickly address this issue?
So, Commissioner Richard, we had concerns that if a change was made during the 2024 cycle, we clearly have increased costs for Empower already with the 2024 cycle. So we were concerned about rate shock. We did consider that as an option, that we would ask the commission to make this change now, but we were just not comfortable with that recommendation. I'd have to maybe consult further with the office, but if this information were to be provided quickly, and a change could be made this year, and that rate impact was acceptable to everyone, that is an option. But based on our evaluation, we felt more comfortable making that change in advance of the 2025 program year.
Okay, well, thank you, and I appreciate you again bringing this to our attention. Sorry we didn't do a little more, I guess, in 2022. But Mr. Chair, I would certainly like to support OPC and that they get this information as quickly as possible, and entertain possible actions we might take to adjust this rate if it is found to be unjust. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
So, anything else from?
No, nothing
Okay.
further. Thank you.
Any other questions for that? Oh, actually, Commissioner Sussman, sorry.
Yes, that's fine. I'm actually trying to figure out how all the different buttons work on this. So that I understand, you're asking for information so that you can be able to weigh in on the 2025 rates. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner
Okay.
Sletchman.
I wouldn't, I guess the question is, can we, I agree with Commissioner Richard. I'm kind of troubled that you haven't received the information you need. And to the extent that this is causing increased rates, unnecessary increased rates for PE customers, I would like to put a limit on the impact for PE customers. And I would, I'm sort of asking the chair if it's possible to include an order that what we're approving is only for 2024 rates for PE, and that we expect a proposal for 2025 rates based on the information that they're providing to OPC.
So the tariff filings that are proposed for Potomac Edison both have an effective date of March 1, 2024. So I think it would be able for us to revisit the 2025 thing at a later date.
But I would like to make it clear in an order that these rates are only good for 2024, and that we expect a proposal for 2025 rates based on the analysis that is being provided to OPC.
Okay, all right, I hear you. So, well, actually, why don't we turn to a representative from the company to.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Jessica Raba on behalf of Potomac Edison. So to be clear, we have no problem working with OPC and what they're asking for 2025 rates. I also went back and watched the tape from the hearing in 2022, and just my takeaway from that hearing was that the expectation from the commission was that this would be looked at kind of across all of the utilities, that this isn't really a Potomac Edison specific issue, and that we should, if we're going to look at it, we should be looking to move towards uniformity across all utilities. That did not happen in the following year. As OPC noted, we did provide responses to all of their discovery. They had what they needed to run their analysis. We did not, when we were asked on February 20th, basically run our own analysis, I guess, to confirm their findings. But if that's what they're looking for us to do this year, we're happy to work with them to do that. But I don't want it to sound like Potomac Edison's been withholding necessary information.
Okay. Any questions for PE? All right. So does staff have a view on this, or?
No, staff supports the OPC recommendation to get the analysis on comparing the different amortization rates from PE for us to move forward and discuss and come up with a surcharge rate for 2025.
Okay. No.
Yeah, may I
Sure.
just ask one question, since we have the company here? How quickly can you get this information to OPC?
So we would need some time, probably a couple of months, just to be clear. We don't even know exactly what the Delmarva method is or the WGL method is that OPC is running, but if they work with us to make sure we're providing the right, using the right models to provide the right methodology, we should be able to get it done in a couple of months, well in advance of our 2025 surcharge filing. And hopefully in advance, work with OPC to make sure we come to you with a filing that we're all on the same page.
Okay, and may I ask OPC, is 2 months, is that okay? Is that a sufficient amount of time?
Yes.
Or is that
Yeah,
enough?
thank you.
Okay. Appropriate amount of time, I should say. Great, 2 months, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, okay. So, I guess we're going to jump around a little bit on some of the motions. So, regarding item number 7, Potomac Electric Power Company, and item number 9, Delmarva Power and Light, I move that we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of March, with the March 2024 billings. Commissioner Sussman,
Aye.
Commissioner Barbe. Aye. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. Regarding number 8, Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative, I move that we accept the tariff revisions for filing with an effective date, effective with the March 2024 billings following the commission ordered 2023 scenario for energy efficiency programs and the maximum scenario for demand response programs. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. Regarding item 10, Washington Gas Light, I move that we accept the tariff revisions for filing as modified by staff in its comments dated February 14th, 2024, and direct the company to file clean copies of its tariff reflecting staff's changes effective with the March 2024 billings. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. And then regarding items 11 and 12, Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, I move that we accept the tariff revisions for filing effective with the March 2024 billings. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. Regarding item 13, I move that we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of March 1, 2024. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve. Commissioner Richard.
Aye. Is this the item that we?
Well, actually, I
need to
think
order?
it's,
I just want to make sure we're.
yeah, no, I understand the same thing. I actually thought it was the 14, right?
It is 13.
Oh, it is 13?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I meant what we're going to make the changes for regarding the new information should be for 14, right?
Yeah, so I think.
Oh, I see.
I
Okay,
do believe it's
yeah.
15. I
Right.
think
Okay,
13 is the correct.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, everybody's right. So, regarding item 13, I move that we accept the tariff revisions for filing with an effective date of March 1, 2024, and order the company to provide the information as detailed in OPC's comments filed on February 20, 2024. Commissioner Sussman.
Before I vote, I would like to, I guess the question is how to make it clear that it's at least my expectation that whatever comes out in the analysis is going to inform the next changes to the tariff. So that I don't want the company to simply provide the information to OPC and then to submit tariff pages based on previous approaches.
So anybody have any thoughts on how to craft that?
Okay, one idea.
Mhm.
Would it be acceptable for Potomac Edison to make a filing well in advance of our normally scheduled tariff filing, laying out the three different options for the commission so that you could then order us to implement whatever amortization methodology you deem appropriate? Because right now we're operating under a commission-approved methodology. We have been doing the same thing since 2009. So it's our position, one, we don't agree with OPC, but two,
sure.
the commission would need to order us to implement a different methodology. Would
That
work?
makes sense to me.
Okay. All right, so let me try this. So I move that we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of March 1, 2024. Order the company to provide the information as specified in OPC's comments dated February 20th, 2024, and require the company to make a advance filing of the 2025 amortization surcharge request. Okay, Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve. Aye. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Mr. Chair, item number
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Mr. Chair, on item 10 for Washington Gas, I don't think we recommended that they file clean copies of the tariff. I don't know if that was in your order or not.
Wait a minute. Run that by me again.
So we recommended that Washington Gas use the rates that we developed in our buck sheet, and we also recommended that they file clean copies of their tariff. I don't think you mentioned the clean copies of the tariff.
Oh, actually, I did.
Okay,
Yeah. No, I did. Yeah, because trust me, whatever's on the paper, I read.
all right, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
And that, if I may, that we were simply, OPC was concerned, and I went and spoke with staff because they modeled a different payoff period for the, thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Mr. Chair, item number 14 consists of revised tariff pages from the Potomac Edison Company in compliance with 2 orders.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Anson Justy on behalf of staff. Potomac Edison PE has recently completed a rate case updating its base electric energy distribution rates. On September 6, 2023, the Public Utility Law Judge issued a proposed order on the case. PE and the Office of People's Counsel, OPC, filed notices of appeal and memorandums on appeal, which the Commission reviewed and ruled on in Order Number 90847, dated October 18, 2023. PE filed mail log number 305763 on October 23, 2023, to update the base rate stated in its tariffs in compliance with that order. The rates in that filing complied with the proposed order and order number 90847. On October 31st, 2023, PE filed a motion for reconsideration, and on November 17, 2023, OPC filed a motion for clarification. The Commission reviewed the motions and issued order number 90966 on January 3, 2024. Salient to the filings being heard today, this order granted PE's motion for reconsideration and stated that the proper amount of administrative and general test year expenses that should be removed from PE's income was $64,287 rather than $772,000. PE subsequently filed mail log number 307328 on January 29, 2024. To update the base rate stated in its tariffs in compliance with that order. The rate updates in this filing reflect the accounting change, are minimal, and comply with the order. When considering both filings, PE has been authorized to collect $28.8 million in incremental distribution revenue. The average residential customer is expected to see a 19.99% distribution-only bill increase per month. Commercial, industrial, and lighting customers are expected to see bill increases of 10 to 21%. Staff recommends that the Commission, 1, accept the tariff as filed in mail log number 305763, with rates effective for all bills rendered on or after October 19, 2023. And 2, accept the tariff as filed in mail log number 307328, with rates effective for all bills rendered on or after March 1st, 2024. Thank you. I'm available for questions.
So, any questions for staff? Okay, Mr. Trout.
Good morning again, Chair Hoover, Commissioners. Again, Jeff Trout for Potomac Edison. We agree with staff's analysis and recommendation. If you have any questions, I will endeavor to answer them.
Any questions for Potomac Edison? Seeing none, I move that we accept the tariff as filed in mail log number 305763 with rates effective for all bills rendered on or after October 19th, 2023, and accept the tariff as filed in mail log number 307328 with rates effective for all bills rendered on or after March 1, 2024. Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve. Aye. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Mr. Chair, item number 15 is a request for an extension of the operational deadline for the Ten Oaks Solar Project in Howard County.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Harrison Scher on behalf of staff. On January 16th, Ten Oaks Solar filed a request to extend the operational deadline of the January 18th, 2024 operational deadline for the Ten Oaks Solar Project located in Howard County. The company requested that the Commission either order BGE to grant a day-for-day extension of the operational deadline under COMAR 2062-0304 C3A, or grant a COMAR waiver under 2062-0104 for good cause shown until BGE is able to complete its testing for the project and grant the project permission to operate. There have been some issues with the project that are still being worked out, as the project did not pass the witness test on December 29, 2023. Since the test, the company has taken measures to address the problems and hired a third-party tester who confirmed that the solar equipment was in working order. The project is scheduled to be retested by EGE tomorrow, according to the utility's filing. BGE indicated that they are supportive of the project and will continue to work with Ten Oaks. The Commission granted a waiver of the operational deadline on January 17th for good cause shown pursuant to COMAR 2062-0104 until BGE is able to complete its testing. Staff is requesting that the waiver continue as the project is scheduled to be retested tomorrow, and I'm available for questions.
So, any questions for staff?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Max Cook on behalf of Ten Oaks Solar LLC. We have reviewed staff's filing, and the only item we want to emphasize is that this is a fully constructed project, working through final testing with BGE in order to achieve PTO. We've also reviewed BGE's filing and have a few comments to make. First off, we appreciate BGE's cooperation throughout this process and BGE's support of our request for a continued waiver of good cause. As BGE indicated, we believe the parties have discovered a solution to the technical issues, and there is another witness test tomorrow morning to confirm this in advance of PTO, further demonstrating good cause for this extension. At the time of the initial emergency filing on January 16, 2024, the company BGE and an independent third party believed after the second witness test that the overvoltage observed and technical issues suggested the possibility that the issues came from both the system and the grid. It was not until a joint meeting on January 22nd, 2024 between BGE and the company when BGE concluded in their opinion that the technical issues were caused by the company's system. All that to say, both the company and BGE believe these issues have been resolved, and the final witness test should confirm this tomorrow. The final point we want to address is with respect to the day-for-day extension versus the waiver for good cause. The company believes that seeing as this witness test is a technical issue and is the last step prior to achieving PTO, that BGE could have granted the day-for-day extension. For efficiency purposes, we believe this is a reasonable interpretation of the regulations and that we've met the standard for a day-for-day extension. Having said that, Ten Oaks again appreciates BGE's cooperation throughout this process, and we are glad that we believe we've discovered a solution. With that, we're here to answer any questions from the Commission. Thank you.
So, any questions for the applicant? So, why don't you explain to us what did happen? I mean, I've kind of read all the filings, and there was this witness test, which I guess is what, a trial run of the system.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it to Mr. Tokachev, who can provide a more detailed response.
All right. Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Andrei Tolkachev on behalf of Ten Oaks Solar. So, the Ten Oaks Solar site was fully constructed back in November. On December the 29th, it took the witness test, which resulted in an overvoltage on the high side of the transformer, which caused the failure of the utility lightning arrestor and the surge arrestor. Right after the test, the site was locked out, tagged out, until both of us investigated the reasons of what has happened, with the eventual conclusion that the equipment on the project side could have been a contributing factor. Necessary steps to remediate that have been taken, and we're well prepared for the test tomorrow, if I answered your question.
And so this is a traditional part of the process, this witness test?
Witness test is part of the process before permission to operate is granted to the project. It indicates the project's readiness to get connected to the grid and safely operate.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Okay, so why don't we hear from BG&E, so.
Good morning, Chair Hoover and Commissioners. Joel Michelle on behalf of BG. So in terms of the current status of this project, we agree with everything that the company representatives has stated. 2 points that I would like to make. First, addressing the legal arguments that the company was entitled for the day-to-day extension. As we noted in our written comments, BG disagrees with that interpretation of the regs. As the company witness just stated, the open phase witness test is a requirement as part of BGE's evaluation of the project to make sure that it is safe to operate. And because the company failed that test, if we look at the language in COMAR, it says that the company would be eligible for the day-to-day extension if the only thing holding up the company's readiness to operate this project is BGE's granting of PTO. In this particular case, that was simply not the case. The reason why BGE could not grant PTO was because the company failed the open phase witness test. And based on that reading of the Commission's regulations, the company felt that it was not in a position or authorized by the Commission's regs to grant the day-to-day extension. The second point that I like to make is the company believes that this is, in essence, a waste of the Commission's time to have to come before the Commission to request an extension of time for a project that the company agrees, BG agrees, is a viable project. And as we stated in our filings, we've been working with the developer to get this project up and running. Now that the community solar program has been converted to a permanent program, BGE's position is that these construction deadlines that apply to the pilot program should not apply to the projects in the permanent program, and we hope that the Commission would consider eliminating those deadlines in an upcoming rulemaking for the community solar projects.
Okay. So, for staff, I don't want to put you on the spot, but my understanding is that staff is developing the proposed regulations for the community solar program, and is this issue going to be considered, or?
I don't have that answer for you today, but I can get back to you on
Okay. All right, that works. So, all right. Well, with that, I move that we grant the company the requested waiver of the operational deadline for the 10 Oaks project until Baltimore Gas and Electric can complete the testing for the project and grant the project a permission to operate. Commissioner Sussman.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, Chair Hoover, just so I'm clear, could the motion specify under which provision the extension is being granted, just for clarity of
Well, I think we were going to do it based on the traditional process of granting a waiver of the operational deadline for good cause shown. So,
Great.
yeah,
Thank you.
that's why we're doing it. So, Commissioner Sussman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barbe.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Mr. Chair, items 16 through 19 are requests to qualify the Hanover Square Apartments, the Apostolic Towers Apartments, Southern High Apartments, and Franklin Square School 100 as LMI subscribers under Maryland's Community Solar Program.
Good morning again, Chair and Commissioners. Harrison Scher on behalf of staff. On January 18th, Arcadia Power LLC filed a request to qualify Hanover Square Apartments, Apostolic Tower Apartments, Southern High Apartments, and Franklin Square 100 as low-income subscribers in Maryland's Community Solar Pilot Program. Each apartment is an affordable housing complex located in Baltimore within BGE territory. Each apartment is in HUD's Housing Choice Voucher Program, commonly referred to as Section 8 housing. The company has filed a copy of the Section 8 housing contract for each apartment as proof. According to the Commission's letter order dated February 14, 2020, self-attestation plus proof of participation in a qualified federal program is sufficient to verify low-income status. Additionally, this commission recently approved multiple applicants using Section 8 housing participation as a qualifier for LMI status on January 17th. Staff recommends that Arcadia's request be approved and that Hanover Square Apartments, Apostolic Tower Apartments, Southern High Apartments, and Franklin Square 100 be qualified as low-income subscribers in Maryland's Community Solar Pilot Program. And I'm available for questions.
Any questions for staff?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, John Fiasco here, representing Arcadia Power, just available for questions. I would like to say, though, however, thank you to Mr. Scher and technical staff for speeding through these applications and these the process is greatly increased in speed, and Arcadia would like to note that. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Arcadia? All right, so I move that we approve the company's request and qualify Hanover Square Apartments, Apostolic Towers Apartments, Southern High Apartments, and Franklin Square School 100 as low-income subscribers in Maryland's Community Solar Pilot Program. Commissioner Suchman.
Aye.
Commissioner Barve.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.